Okay, so what if you could take your entire messy library of documents and turn it into a super polished, ready-to-share presentation, basically with the click of a button? Today we're going to dive into a new tool from Google that promises to do just that, and honestly, it could completely change the way you share ideas.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You've got endless documents, all those meeting notes, articles you saved, research papers, and it's all just piling up. It feels like a constant battle just to keep your head above water, let alone make sense of it all.
And then, on top of just managing it, comes the real creative drain. That whole process of summarizing everything, trying to find the key points, and then building slides from a blank screen, it's just exhausting. That's time and energy you should be using for the actual big ideas. All right, so here's the plan for today. We're going to walk through this whole challenge and a really groundbreaking new solution. We'll cover the problem, the tool itself, exactly how it works, what you can actually do with it in the real world, and of course the fine print, and what's coming next.
So let's start by really setting the stage here and digging into a problem that, let's face it, pretty much everyone in the modern workplace knows a little too well.
Man, this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It feels like we spend so much of our creative brain power just managing information that we completely lose the ability to actually think creatively about it. So what if you had an assistant that could just instantly understand all your documents for you? Well, that's the whole idea behind NotebookLM, and it takes a completely different approach to AI. See, unlike most AIs that are out there scraping the entire internet, the good, the bad, and the just plain weird, NotebookLM becomes an expert exclusively on the information you give it. It creates a totally private, secure little library just for you. And this right here is the absolute key difference. You've probably heard about AIs hallucinating, right? Where they just make stuff up that sounds really plausible but is totally wrong. Well, NotebookLM is built on a strict principle called source grounding, which is designed to stop that from ever happening. So what does that actually mean for you? It means that every single thing it tells you is directly tied back to a specific sentence in your documents. You'll see these little citation numbers next to everything, and you click one and bam, it shows you the exact passage it pulled that info from. It's all verifiable, it's trustworthy, and it's built for getting real work done. Now, this is where things go from just really useful to, whoa, that's amazing. Google recently dropped this brand new feature that takes all that grounded intelligence and transforms it into a full-on presentation. First, you just start feeding it your sources, and it's really not picky. We're talking Google Docs, PDFs, text files, website links. You can even drop in a link to a YouTube video or an MP3 audio file from a meeting. You're basically building its own custom brain, piece by piece. And the process itself, it really couldn't be simpler. You upload your stuff, you give it a little direction, tell it if the presentation is for an expert or a total beginner, and then you just hit generate, and it automatically creates a tailored, narrated slideshow based on exactly what you told it. It's wild. So this new video overview feature builds on an audio summary tool they already had, but it adds that absolutely crucial visual layer. All of a sudden, it's not just a private podcast of your notes anymore. It's a full-fledged video presentation with slides, images, and key quotes, all pulled intelligently right from your source materials. Okay, so the tech sounds fantastic, but why should you care? Let's talk about some powerful, practical ways you could start using this, like right now. For anyone in the business world, the applications are just massive. I mean, imagine creating a new hire notebook with all the company policies. New folks can just ask it questions like, hey, how do I submit an expense report? Instead of having to go ask a person. That is a huge time saver. And for students and teachers, this is a total game changer. You could take a dozen dense academic papers, have it generate a quick video overview to get the main points, and then use it as a Q&A guide to quiz yourself and really deepen your understanding. It makes studying so much more interactive.
And hey, it's not just for work or school. Say you're planning a complex trip. You could just gather up a bunch of travel articles and recommendations, drop them in, and ask it to create an efficient 5-day itinerary. The possibilities for organizing any complex project in your life are pretty much endless.
Of course, like with any new technology, it's not perfect yet. So it's really important to be aware of the current limitations, even as we get excited about the incredible potential down the road. So, the biggest things to keep in mind right now. The video and audio narration feature is English only for now, though more languages are planned. It's web only, so no mobile app just yet. And maybe the most important thing to remember, the quality of what you get out is completely dependent on the quality of what you put in. Garbage in, garbage out.
But when you look past those current limits, the long-term potential here is incredibly clear. This technology is really all about lowering the barrier between having complex information and actually achieving genuine understanding. It's about making knowledge more accessible and more actionable for everyone.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. What happens when the friction, that huge effort between having information and presenting it, just disappears? What new ideas, what new projects will you be able to bring to life and share with the world when your documents can finally speak for themselves?